Hi Azna. If you guys are here, please say hello in the comments. You can leave your name, where you're from, what you do, as in what is your business about, if you're a business owner. So that will help us get to know each other. So ideally I should be showing my face, but I think it's easier for me to do it this way. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat section, your name, where you're from, and what do you do, what is your business about. I'm sorry the video is a little dark, although I've kept external light, probably because the iPad is reflecting light as well. Can you guys hear me? Are you able to hear me without any issues? Hi Urmila, lovely to see you here. Hey Samara, welcome back. Okay, it's nice to see all of your names. Okay guys, so I will give this a go. Assalamu alaikum and a warm welcome to another YouTube live session. Today we are taking a slight detour from arts and we are going to discuss business. My name is Nilofer. For those of you who are new, my name is Nilofer. You can call me Nilu. I am the founder of Pretty Paper Studio, which is, which started out as an online art and craft supply store, and now it's sort of transitioning into a lettering and calligraphy studio. We're based in Dubai. I am a mother of 4, 2 boys and 2 girls. When I started out with Pretty Paper Studio, I was a mother of 2, so along with the business, my family grew as well. Please do subscribe to my channel, leave a like if you can, take a screenshot of this and share on your stories, and please do tag at ppsuae when you do so that I can see and repost. I hope you find whatever I'm going to share with you today helpful. So, Walaikum Assalam, Hanza. Ings with you. You have lived in Abu Dhabi. Okay, lovely to have you here. Now, the rest of you, please feel free to introduce yourself. So I have the tendency of forgetting things, which is why I have listed down everything that I want to discuss with you today. But apart from these, if there's anything that you want to share, we'll have a Q&A or a discussion session. Let's call it a discussion session. And you're more than welcome to tell me, what's working for you in the current circumstance, and what are your intentions with your business, what are your struggles, anything. Let's make this, I don't want this to be a lecture where I'm just saying all the things. Okay, I'm back. Sorry guys, with the live, the issue is that the internet has to be like super strong, which it is. Normally, last 2 live sessions I didn't have any issue, but this time, this is like the 3rd time I'm trying to I'm starting a live session and then disconnecting and starting again and disconnecting. Please be patient. I'm really sorry, there's not much I can do about this. Um, it is what it is at the end of the day. Anyway, so if ever you have to leave the session, this will be available on the channel for you to rewatch. But I would love to have you here till the end. I'm not saying that you can leave. I'm just saying that this will be here for replay. Unlike Instagram, it's not going to disappear after 24 hours or anything, which is why I'm doing it on YouTube instead of Instagram. Okay, so the first and foremost thing that I can tell you is that, this whole situation with COVID-19 and cities locking down and everything, it wasn't something that any of us could predict. It happened very suddenly. It happened with little to no word of caution, or like we didn't really know that this was coming. We were watching it on the news, but we didn't really think it was going to happen with us. We thought it was, or at least me. Let's talk about me. I thought it's going to be like Ebola or maybe the SARS, and we'll get through this. I never expected it to reach this level, but it is what it is. We're here. So now I think since we have passed a few weeks of this, we have all sort of calmed down. We have sort of made amends with our new situation. And I think the best thing we can do is that be kind to ourselves and not put too much pressure on ourselves to do a lot of things together in one go. Pivoting and adjusting to new situations, it takes a lot of strength and courage mentally. And this is a situation where we're trusted in, so we have to give ourselves some time and be kind to ourselves. The next thing this is a reminder for myself. Normally, I'm okay with making money. Normally, I don't really have an issue with advertising my products. I did initially when I had started off my business, but with practice, I had gotten used to selling my products because I'm selling something of value. I'm not like selling a fake product or anything. I'm selling good quality products and everything. So I'm giving something in return for the money I'm receiving. So I had sort of adjusted myself to that. However, with a situation like this, many of us are feeling a little uneasy. People are losing jobs, unemployment is skyrocketing, and a lot of people are scrambling for money. So is this the right time to earn money and ask people for money and all of that? So my reminder to myself and to you is that it's totally fine, because at the end of the day, an economy depends a lot on small and medium businesses like ours. And let's say somebody buys something from my online store, I will use that money to, let's say, buy milk and bread or groceries from a grocery store, which then goes to the grocery store owner and the employee, and then they will go and buy something else from somewhere else. They can probably pay the rent, and then the landlord earns that money. So it sort of goes in a circle, and this movement of cash flow is really necessary for an economy to thrive, especially in a pandemic like this. So there's nothing wrong in earning money or marketing ourselves or putting ourselves out there. And also there's we also need money to pay our bills. Although our income, like my income, has come down a lot. Hi Swati, hi Mariam. So my income has come down a lot since all of this has started. However, my bills have not stopped coming. I still have to pay school fees. I still have to pay rent. Of course, my husband is the one paying, but I'm just giving you an idea. So the bills don't stop coming, which means we have to continue earning. So these are my first two reminders. That is, one, be kind to yourself, and second, remind yourself that it's okay to earn money. The third thing that you can do is, there's a lot of talk about how this has affected all of us, how businesses are shutting down, how it's affecting our income. But I think if we change our perspective and just sit down and make a list of things that we can do, doesn't matter how big or small, but make a list of things that we can do in these circumstances. So you'll be like, huh? But Neelu, we came here for this YouTube live session so that you can tell us what we can do. Obviously, I am giving you some ideas, but every business is different. What works for me may not work for you. All of our circumstances are different. The government regulations in different cities and different countries are different. So depending on where you are, where you live, and all of that, just sit down and brainstorm. If you have a partner, brainstorm with him or her, or just sit down and make a list of all the things that you feel that you can do for your business and start doing them one by one. And when you have a list of the positive aspects, it gives you a lot of motivation and keeps you inspired to keep going. Because when, when it comes to media, like the traditional media, like news, newspaper, and all of that, unfortunately, it's the negative news that sells. People love drama. So, which is why they are putting up all the negative things that's happening. But it's our job to sit down and note down all the positive things that we can do with our business. And you can do this with your personal life as well, because I think all of us need a little bit of a little dose of motivation these days. I'm sorry if the video is buffering or getting a little pixelated or anything. It happens during live sessions. There's not much I can do about it. I'm extremely sorry. Now, this is not really applicable for those of us who live here, and I don't know, maybe Emiratis they do have, I'm not sure. But let's say you live in a country where the government is offering subsidies or benefits, or in US they are offering stimulus checks and stuff. So let's say you live in a country where the government is offering you some sort of subsidy, anything to help you combat the current situation, take it. If it's an unemployment benefit, let's say, just take it. There's no need to feel embarrassed, to feel that you're taking a handout. No, the government is doing something to help the economy. So just take whatever they are offering you. It's your right, it's your haq, as we say in Arabic/Urdu. So just take it. One of the major shifts that I've observed, and I'm sure that many of you have observed lately, is that since a lot of physical stores are shutting down, many of them are pivoting or giving more attention to their online stores. So companies who already have an online store are continuing their business with the regulations and everything in place. But let's say if you don't have one, this is a good time to start one. It's actually pretty easy these days to start an online store. Like, you don't have to build a website from scratch. You can start off with something like Shopify or Wix. I've never used Wix, so I can't really recommend it. But I'm just saying that there are options out there where it's pretty much like using Facebook or Instagram or other social media apps. You just create a username and password, and then they have these built-in blocks where you enter your product description, take a photo and upload the photo, write product description and all of that. So it's pretty straightforward, especially given that we are all living in a social media age. So this could be a good time for you to shift your gear into an online store and hi guys, I'm back. So sorry. This is so nerve-wracking when it keeps going off and on. Anyway, so as I was saying, it's a good time for you to look into building an online store and getting your products online if you don't already have one. The next thing you can do is you can trim off or cut down on excess cost or anything that's costing you money but you don't necessarily need right now. So in my case, for the time being, I have put a pause on my email newsletter. I use MailChimp, and I had crossed a certain number of subscribers, which means the monthly fee that I have to pay a MailChimp has gone up. So for now, I have put a pause on it, and I'm looking at other more economical options, because email newsletter is something that I personally use and I've seen results from. So I don't want to completely cut it down, but I don't want to pay what I've been paying MailChimp for so long, especially now with my income coming down. So look at your business. Is there anything like any subscription? In our personal lives, people are cutting down on, let's say, Netflix or newspaper subscription or something similar. So in the same way in business, just look around and see what are the costs that you're incurring and what you can cut down on. That way you won't have the pressure of finding income to pay for that. Number 7, this is something I'm noticing a lot of my fellow business owners doing, and I think this is a really good time to do that. And that is, I'm sorry if you are unable to read what I've written, but basically what I'm written here is, do those things that you have put off for so long. So let's say, just like in personal life, even in our businesses, there are things that we have always wanted to do. In my case, I've wanted to learn illustration, and I'll show you some illustration that I've done for myself, especially for this session. But it's something that has been on my mind for so long. I have to learn a bit more of illustration, especially digital work. I have to learn a bit more of graphic design. I've been using Canva for really long. So if there's anything that you have been wanting to do for your business, is it building an email newsletter? Is it building a website? Or let's say you do have a website, but you want to make some changes for it. So even though right now you may not be able to sell for whatever reason, but this is going to get over, inshallah. We are going to come out of this. This is temporary. Pandemics have come before and has gone, and people, get back to normal lives. Right now, it feels a little permanent and uncertain, but inshallah, we are going to come out of this. So this is a good time to make those changes to our business, like those little things that we've been meaning to do but putting off. Maybe get yourself rebranded, like you've been thinking of getting a logo design done, or getting the header on your website changed, or let's say you have some product photos on your website but you're not happy with them, so now is a good time to make some new photographs, so on and so forth. So there are so many things that we can do, we can use this time for. So again, I would suggest that you put that under this list. But again, remind yourself to be kind. Don't compare yourself with others. Don't think that, oh, this lady of this business is doing so much and she hasn't stopped since Corona started and whatever. I don't like using that name, but let's say I had to. But don't compare yourself. Don't, no, international shipping has completely stopped. There's a time for Q&A session towards the end. You can ask your questions then. So anything that you can do for your business, do it at your pace. Be kind to yourself. Just don't compare to others whom you think are doing really well in spite of everything, because on social media it looks like everybody is doing really well, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Give back to the community. So I can only speak from my own experience. So in the artist community, I've been seeing a lot of people offering free online classes, or let's say lettering and calligraphy artists are offering free practice sheets. I have offered one already. The YouTube live sessions that I'm doing, I'm not earning anything from this. I have not crossed the minimum required for me to earn through YouTube, so I'm not earning anything, at least as of now, from YouTube. But the reason why I'm doing this is because this is my way to give back to the community that has helped me sustain myself for the last 8 years. So this is a good time for you to invest back in your community. So I don't know, please do think about an example of how you can do this in your field, and do let us know in the comments. It can be anything really, from free online classes, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, or what you have already been doing, free content on your social media, anything really. Number 9, it sort of falls here again, but let's say if you have been wanting to learn something new for your business, now is a good time. Like I said, I've been looking into graphic design and illustration for a while, so that's something that you can look into. Create content. So this is for those of you who haven't been creating content and have been a little quiet on social media generally. I think this is a good time for you to come back. You can create content that is helpful for them now, like right now, how you can help your community members, or you can put up content which will help them later on as well when things are back to normal, inshallah. It can be a mix of both. I'm just giving you some ideas. So this is a good time for you to churn out content, use your time productively. All the content marketing that we do, even if it doesn't show us result right now, it will show us results gradually. So it's a gradual process. I know on social media everything seems instant, but things, we never know. Like I might put out, let's say, an artwork I did, and somebody might see it 5 days or 5 weeks later on my grid, and they might reach out to me and say, hey Neelu, I really like what you've done here, can you make a custom commission for me? So don't think that whatever you put out now has to show you results now. It will show results gradually as well. Be positive about things. Collaborate. Collaboration is something that we can all do right now. I think this is a really good time. So one of the things that has been catching dust on my to-do list is to do these live sessions with other fellow artists. So since C19 happened and everything, I've been reaching out to a few artists to do live sessions together where, you know, they show something to my audience, and then maybe I go to their channel and I show something to their audience. Collaboration can be anything really, not just YouTube Live. Just to give you an example, let's say you sell cast iron pans. One of my friends, Faiza, she has a business called Earth and Ethics where she sells cast iron pans, one of the products. She could reach out to food bloggers or home cooks and ask them to show some recipes where they are using her cast. Oh, hi Faiza, I didn't realize you were here. So, you know, she can reach out to food bloggers or cooks who can show recipes using her cast iron pans. So she gets their audience onto hers and her audience onto theirs. So it's a good way. And now, since paid work, so all these YouTube collab sessions that I've been meaning to do, it kept I kept putting them off, mainly because paid work used to take more precedence, and as a mother of four, there's only so much I can do in a day. But now that my paid work has come down, my in-person workshops has come down, like completely shut down, this is something I can concentrate on. And although I don't expect this to bring me like results right away, like YouTube monetization or whatever, I know that this can help my business in the long run. I know I can see results from this in the long run as well. So I think this is a perfect time for us to collaborate with each other, to create content or anything really. I mean, I'm sure you guys can come up with better ideas than what I'm saying here. Now, offer discounts. Now, let's say you have some unsold stock that is catching dust and you're getting worried. I think this is a good time to give discounts because everyone is scrambling around for money. Money is becoming an issue for many of us, and it's fine to acknowledge that. There's nothing wrong with that, there's nothing embarrassing, and I think it's a good time to give some kind of discount or till, like try and get as much, sell as much as you can. Maybe a 10 or 20% discount for a week and see how things go. If it spikes up your salary, I'm sorry, if it spikes up your income, then it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing for you. You are getting stock off your hands, and it's a good thing for your customers. They're getting what they want at a discounted price. So it's a win-win situation, really. I'll come to this a little later because I don't want to talk about this now. I want to talk about this point number 13 in the end. Okay, now this list of things that you have done. More than the to-do list, I think making a list of things that you have done is very, very motivating, whether personally or for a business. I think it's something that all of us should do once a day or at least once a week, and all the small things that you have done already, whatever it is, even if it's like putting one social media post out, just write it down and motivate yourself, give yourself a pat on the back and tell yourself that I didn't get much done, or I got a lot done. And it sort of has, momentum begets momentum. It's going to help you do more when you see that list of things that you have already done. Start a creative hobby. This is not me upselling art supplies, but I think it's really crucial for us to have something outside of our businesses, because our businesses become so all-consuming. And when we turn our art or creative hobby to business, then that hobby doesn't remain a hobby anymore, isn't it? Like for me, lettering and calligraphy was something that I did apart from my online store, but then that also became a business of mine. So now I've taken up this time to bake. I've wanted to bake sourdough bread for over a year, and now I've got that done, and I've been baking. As long as I have enough flour available, I can bake. Gardening, this, if you go to YouTube is such a great place. Oh my God, I can't tell you enough about YouTube. If you go to YouTube and say, how can I start a garden with things lying around? You will find so many tips, from the coriander seeds that we already have, from anything really. So you can just, you can start hobbies that are not very time intensive or very money intensive, because that will give you something to look forward to. It's not really an added responsibility to have a garden. It's lovely to see our plants grow. It's pretty much like seeing our children grow, but a little less stress and drama. But what I'm saying is, when you have something else to look up to, you won't be in your business so much. You won't be like, oh my God, my business is struggling or this and that. You have something else to look forward to, and that happiness is going to come into your business as well. I am seeing your comments, guys. Thank you so much. So start a creative hobby. Positive thoughts. Okay, so these positive affirmations, as they say, let's say, telling ourselves, Neelu, you can do this, Bilna, you can do this, Urmila, you can do this. We think this is so cliche, but honestly it works. So if you can, tell yourselves positive things, and I would even suggest make plans. Like, the world is not ending, you guys. Inshallah, world is not ending. We are going through a pandemic, and inshallah we'll come out of it. I know it feels very surreal now, but inshallah we are going to be out of here. So make plans. Yes, we are our own cheerleaders. So make long-term plans. Like for me, one of the things that I really want to do after all of this is visit Vietnam. It has been an it has been all the same. Hi, if you missed the beginning, it's fine. You can always watch the replay. No, it's not going to be the same. But what I'm saying is, give yourself hope to look forward to things. So let's say um, once this is over, I'm going to do so and so. And you'll have something to look forward to. So don't be all in the negative sphere of things. Things are going to change, and I don't think any of us are going to come out of this as the same person. That's fine, it's a good thing actually. Many of us are making positive changes for ourselves, for the planet, and all of that, so why not for the business? You know? Okay. Yes, inshallah, this too shall pass. Okay, now this is the last point that I want to make. Let's say you're in a situation where you feel after trying all of the things that you can think of trying, let's say you're like, no, this is not something I can continue with. That's fine. Maybe it's time for you to look for a new idea of business. So you can pivot, you can make a complete U-turn and start something completely new, sort of keep your current business on the shelf for the time being, and then look for something that's completely new. So for example, let's say in my case, okay, I'm unable to, I have sold out all the things in my store. I don't have anything left because I'm unable to bring inventory from US and other countries because all the countries have shut themselves down. So if I don't have inventory, I can't sell. But what else can I do? I can offer my expertise as a business owner to other fellow business owner. I can probably start a virtual assistant company and do admin work for other business owners. There's so much we can do, guys. Like, our business is not the be all and all. We can do a lot of things. I have been in the middle of a transition from an online store to a full-time lettering calligraphy studio. So this pandemic really, it doesn't really affect me much in a sense, because it's like it is sort of time for me to let go of the online store. But I've been sort of delaying it, and when something is too close to our heart, it's a little difficult for us to let that go. So I've been sort of mulling over it and all of that. But I think this is a good time as any for me to make a complete U-turn and do something else. But this is just me. It's my example. I'm not saying, I would say pivoting should be your last resort, not unless and until you have tried everything. I wouldn't suggest you to make a pivot, but I totally would understand if a business has to. Just see it as an opportunity to do new things, and it's totally fine. Businesses come and go. This is not the end of, I'm not talking about the pandemic, but in general, when we close down a business or when we start another one and put the older one on shelf, it's not the end of things. Whatever we have learned so far as a business owner is going to help you with our future business or future ventures as well. So everything that we are doing at the moment are preparing us for something that we are meant to do later on. So it's fine. Don't see things as, my goodness, this is the end of things. No, it isn't. It's just the beginning. And I think we are all going to come out of this mentally stronger. I think after this we'll be like, we went through a pandemic, we can get through anything, inshallah. So yes, it's the start of new adventures. I'm sorry I have a flight going up. Okay, that's gone. Okay, so I was planning to do two sessions today. One is all these things that you can do as a small business owner, and then the next session was about how, tips on working from home. But I would like to have like a discussion session in the middle of this, like before I go to the next session. So if you would like to share anything, ask anything, this is a good time. So in live videos, there will be a lag. You will be hearing me a little later. So when you ask a question, please just give it some time. You will hear my answer in a bit. So do you have any questions or anything? Do you want to share anything? What are your current struggles? What is it that you are is there anything that you need help with? I'll wait for your questions. How do we market ourselves for commission? The same way you would on a normal day. The same way. That's what I was saying in the beginning, that there's nothing wrong in marketing ourselves. There's nothing wrong in putting ourselves out there or our products out there. Yes, it is a difficult time for a lot of people, but there will be people who won't mind spending, who are financially stable at the moment, and who can invest in your commissions. So think about those clients. So you will have to start changing your ideal clients persona now. So you'll have to start thinking of marketing yourselves to clients who are financially stable at the moment. And if others are unable to buy from you, that's totally fine. It's not on you, it's not on them. It's fine. So just continue doing whatever you've been doing. I think the reason why you feel this is because you feel a little guilty marketing yourself. But my answer to this, I had already said this in the beginning, is that it is totally okay to earn money because we have bills to pay, and the money we earn goes back into the economy one way or the other. So we are helping our economy as well, whichever country it is, doesn't matter. So market yourself like you would normally. I thought of starting and publishing my products on social media as business. This was the time which made me launch my online IG store. This time has made me create new product and test them. How to convert. So Instagram, I'll have to do a separate session on Instagram because that in itself is a different ball game. But one of the things that I can tell you now is that not every follower is going to buy from you. Like not every follower is going to be your customer. Like right now I have 11,000 followers on my Instagram. That doesn't mean that all 11,000 of them buys from me. I would be a millionaire if they did, but that's not the case. So there's a funnel. Wait. So there's a funnel, right? So if this is your Instagram followers, you have to get them out through this funnel for you to make them to get customers. So if you have 1,000, maybe only a 10 will convert themselves into a customer. So which is fine, but there are a lot of things that you can do. One is be very consistent on your social media, because social media platforms are always changing. People are seeing a lot of content in a day. Sorry for the horrible handwriting. People are seeing a lot of content every day, which means you have to stand out. So now it's even more difficult to sell on Instagram than it was, let's say, 3 or 4 years back. But there are things that you can do, like posting very consistently, reminding people that you are still here, you're still in business. So whenever I put up a story on saying that yes, yes, our online store is still open for business, people go and place an order online because they are looking for art supplies. So you have to like keep reminding people, be very, very consistent with your marketing. It is a difficult time for everyone, but I don't think there's a good time to sell anything anyway. Like we in our heads and in our mind, we keep thinking that no, this is not the right time. No, this is not the right time, and then the right time never comes. So I suggest that do whatever you have to do, and continue doing it. Don't feel guilty. I'm sorry if I'm losing your comments. Oh, Shaista, I've never been. Thank you so much. Um, Giveaway and collaborations, I told you earlier, right? This is the best time for collaborations. I'm not a big fan of giveaways because it does sort of add a lot of followers who come to your Instagram just for the giveaway, and then they sort of forget you and they don't engage. But if you think it's going to help your business, then why not? Is there anything else? Are you guys bored? Do you want me to do the next part as a new session, or you're fine with me continuing? If you go to my Instagram, I can't remember who asked the Instagram question. I think it was Azna. If you go to my Instagram, you will see, you'll have to go a little further down my bio, my grid, and you will see a post which I've done in particular about Instagram. If you go to my highlights, you will see a highlight bubble called Instagram. You'll have to swipe a little, where I've shared a lot of tips about Instagram. Okay, so let's continue. Let's move to the next session. And this is about how to make working from home work for you. Some of you were already working from home. Some of you have suddenly shifted to working from home. Whatever the case is, I hope these tips help you. I'll be putting this up on my Instagram, so you don't have to worry about this. Be kind to yourself. I know I said this in the previous session, but I want to emphasize this again, but in slightly different way. One of the things that we think that when we are home we can do so much, and that's never the case. When I had my physical shop, I actually got a lot more work done from the shop, because when I'm at the shop, I was at the shop, like I'm there. Even if I'm there for like 3 hours, and then the rest of the hours, the shop was taken care by my assistant. So let's say I was there only for 3 hours, and in those 3 hours, I got a lot of done because I was in the shop and that's where I was. Whereas at home, there's a lot of distraction, and now we have homeschooling as well. Suddenly we are all homeschooling moms. So be very kind to yourself, be extra kind to yourself, because there's a lot going on. So even if you don't get a lot done in a day, that's fine. Any progress, little progress is still progress. So be kind, be positive. I know this is very difficult to do, but I think many times it's our mindset that blocks us from doing things. So if you can change your perspective, so instead of saying, oh no, I have to work from home, I have children, I have this, I have that, instead of, if you shift gears and if you think, I have a lot more time than I had before. For example, I used to spend an hour in commute or 2 hours in commute, and now I can save that time to do something else. So, I can do this. So positive affirmations, like I told you before, and also, what was it? sorry, I lost my train of thought. So positive affirmation, positive mindset, changing your perspective, being less whiny. Very sorry to say that, but I think a lot of us less. There's nothing wrong in acknowledging that this is hard. That's not what I'm saying, but I think many times we get into this really negative mode of things. If we can avoid that, that's only going to do us good. So now, although there's no separation between weekends and weekdays, on Friday and Saturday, I let myself to be like slow and be lazy and be, you know, be a little whiny and a crybaby if I have to. But on rest of the days, I try to be as positive and show up for my business. So it's all about our mindset and perspective on things. Number 3, create a routine. So this can be a morning routine, an evening routine, can be anything as simple as making your bed. Making our bed, I know for Indian families this doesn't sound like a big deal, but making our bed, cleaning our space, and then going down to have a cup of coffee or saying our prayers or whatever it is, that little routine helps us in getting into the flow of things. Many of us are so hell-bent on getting routine for our children, but there's no routine for us. Why? We need routine for ourselves as well. So create a routine. It can be something as simple as, like I said, making bed or having a morning cup of coffee or tea by yourself. Let's say if you've been waking up at 6 a.m. Before the shutdown, then I would suggest continue waking up at 6 a.m. and not wait until all of the children and husband and everyone is up. So that little interval of 30 minutes to yourself is going to give you a lot of positive energy to help you get into a groove of things. Write it down. So this is not just to-do list. In general, I feel that many of us feel like headless chickens running around because we have too many things going on in our mind. And I think the best thing that we can do is to carry a small notebook. I have spoken about this on IGTV and stuff before, but carry a small notebook and a pen and just write down everything that's coming to your mind that you think you have to do. So even if you don't get it done that day, that's fine. This is not really a to-do list. This is more like a brain dump. So when you see things on paper, you're like, oh, I just have to do 3 things today. I don't know why I felt like this is going to be a busy day. So when you see things on paper, you realize that it's not as complicated as your mind is telling you. So write everything down. Have your own workspace or desk space. I know many of us are living in apartments and this can seem like a luxury for many of us. What I mean is stay away from bed and sofa to do work. I personally do not like using my bed or sofa. Couch, yes, sometimes when I'm watching TV, I might sit and do some lettering on my iPad, but for proper shop work, I am never on my sofa or bed because that place is for relaxing, which means when we are on it, our body automatically thinks of relaxing. So it's best to have like your own, even if it's like a small space on your dining table or in your kitchen or wherever, where you can keep your laptop, your phone and a notebook and a pen, that's fine. And if you want to add potted plant to give it some personalization, that's fine too. But what I'm saying is just find a spot for yourself in your home which is yours when you work. Okay, next is time block. So time block is something that can help us immensely. So how do I explain this? Okay, let's say for my business, I have to send out 3 email newsletters this month. Okay, so instead of doing 1 email a week, what I would do is I would sit down, I would put, let's say, give myself 30 minutes or 60 minutes, you can switch on the timer on your phone, and that's all that you will do in that 30 minutes. Only those emails. You won't check your Wi-Fi, I mean your phone or social, you won't answer anything else, like any DMs or anything. In those 30 minutes, your full focus is on that one activity. This, believe it or not, this works really, 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 really well because you are focusing only on one thing. Your sole focus is on that. You're not distracted by other things. You would actually probably end up writing 5 emails in that 30 minutes instead of 3. So the email is just an example. Yeah, I mean, I have always worked with kids around, so it's not a new thing for me because when my older two reach school age, I had my third and fourth. The third and fourth are not in school, so they've been with me at home or at the studio. When I had my physical shop, or the storage space or whatever, I always take them with me. So I've been working with my children. I've become pretty accustomed to it. But I totally understand it's a big switch for a lot of people now. So in my case, my older two, they are 12 and 9, and alhamdulillah, they are very good at taking care of their schoolwork. So there's no hand holding from my side. They do whatever they have to do themselves. Only if they need a login, let's say a password to something, or there's a Zoom meeting, and because the emails come to us as well. So those kind of technical things, yes, me or my husband help them, but otherwise they do everything. But that's because they're 12 and 9, right? I know that's not the case for people with younger, like 4 or 5-year-olds. So in that case, you'll have to find a way to make it work around them. So let's say they are on their computer doing e-learning. Maybe you can sit right next to them with your laptop on and get something done which is not very, let's say, which doesn't take a lot of focus, but you get something done. So let's say you want to schedule some pins on your Pinterest. That's not something that's going to take a lot of your focus away from your child. So you can be with your child while doing something at the same time. So yeah, that's hope that helps, because I know every family is different. In my case, I've been a little lucky in that sense that they're older and they can take care of their schoolwork themselves. And the school also has been very, very helpful. Now let's go to the next one. It's okay to ask for help. Yeah, sorry, sometimes I miss the comments because they move up fast. So yes, I have used time blocking for housework as well. So like when I have deep cleaning to do, I have this tendency of checking my phone over and over again. So these days, I don't think I have cleaned without a timer in the last couple of weeks. No, a couple of months, not weeks. So I would say give myself 1 hour or 1.5 hours to get the whole house clean, and I won't do anything else. I actually do this with my breakfast and cooking and stuff. So my routine, to give you an example, I always cook food in the morning. Like I get the breakfast done for everyone, and I prep lunch, or sometimes I even get the lunch done before I start work. Why? Because children are always hungry. Half of the time they are cranky because they are hungry. So if the food is there, then that part of thing, is taken care of. So this morning routine of mine involves cooking as well. And it gives me peace of mind as well, because I'm like, okay, the food is done. The children are, in that sense, children are taken care of, so I can get something else done or concentrate on my work. Now, it's okay to ask for help. Someone had mentioned that support system is necessary. Yes, absolutely. No, I have no issues with the questions, just that I might not see them at the right time. We actually have a Q&A at the end. So you can always ask me questions in the end so that I don't get distracted and go in different directions. When all the questions are asked together, then it helps me answer them together as well. So yes, it's okay to ask for help. This could be anyone really. And now since we can't really rope in a friend to come and help with something. We can't ask our parents to come and help with something because, no one can travel or drive or whatever, with everything that's going on. But you can ask your husband to help. So these days, all the online orders are taken care completely by my husband. I take care of most of the housework. He helps me with housework as well. But him taking care of the orders, like packing orders and everything, is a huge help because that takes a lot of time. We have moved a lot of our items to our house. Um, like many of the fast moving items are at our house and the others are in storage. So he takes care of the online orders. He calls the courier. We maintain safe distance and all of that. We have stopped cash on delivery because we don't want to handle hard cash anymore. So it's only credit card, for example. So credit card or PayPal or bank transfer, because we don't want to touch cash, because courier goes to a lot of places, sees a lot of people, so we don't want to go to him and get cash from him, and then you know how it goes. So in this case, the reason why I'm telling you all of this is that I have taken help from my husband for things. I take help from my older children. I don't make them like babysit or take care of my other two children all the time. No, that's not fair on them. But there are things that I can ask them to do for me, like, can you fetch me this from the fridge, or can you fetch me like this camera mount that I'm using right now? They got it down for me when I was setting up for the live. So this feeling that we have to do everything ourselves, and we women are wired that way. We want to like do everything on our own, and it doesn't have to be that way. And also, who else you can ask for help? You can you can communicate with your customers. So for example, since all of this started, courier deliveries are taking way longer than it normally used to take. So I've been telling on my stories and on WhatsApp messages and stuff that it's taking a little longer. Please be patient. And people are, one of the good things about this pandemic is that all of us are in the same situation. So it is, which means people are all showing a lot of empathy, and they totally understand, which makes it actually a lot more easier than it was before. Like before, if I told someone that something is delayed for whatever reason, they wouldn't necessarily understand. I'm not saying all customers are the same or everyone throws a fit or anything, but there can be difficult customers. But lately, alhamdulillah, I've been seeing a lot of shift in the way people deal with each other. And I think it's a good time to ask, to communicate to your customers or to your patrons about what your issues are, and maybe they will give you an idea on something that you can do for them. You never know. Okay guys, I have the tendency of over explaining, and I'm running, like my throat is dry. So thank you so much. I love the illustration myself. This is one of the things that I've been putting off before C19, and I'm so glad this YouTube live sort of pushed me to get this done. Okay, have start and end time. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might have noticed that when I'm in the morning, I'll put up a story saying, hi, good morning. And now I put the date and day as well, because many of us don't know what date or day it is anymore. And then I put up a few stories, and then in the end, I like before going to bed, I say night folks or good night folks. So that's me sort of starting my day. I mean, I've already started my day, but starting my business day, and then I'm ending my business day. So I'm sort of putting a switch off and switch on. So I'm telling people that I'm ready to answer your DMs now, and then I'm telling people that I'm ready, like I'm switching off. So I've had people, now my switching off has sort of got a little delayed with everything that's going on, but normally I used to do it at 7 p.m. and all. And I had a couple of DMs asking me, do you go to bed this early? So it's not about me going to bed, it's me creating a cutoff between work and home. So after 7 p.m., I want to be completely with my husband or children and do whatever I want to do and not worry about being on social or do work. So have just like you would have on a normal working day with your work or office or business or whatever, have a switch on and switch off time for your work from home as well. Boundaries are good. So, one of the major issues I had when I started off with PPS during the earlier days was that a lot of people didn't really understand what I was doing, aka my family members. So, what would happen is they would call me during the day and they would want to like chat on the phone, but I would have, let's say, orders to pack, or let's say emails to answer, or let's say I was out and about running errands for my business. So, and then they would say, I'm coming for lunch, and then I had to, or with above all of these, I have to prepare for lunch. So, I'm not saying my family members are bad people or business is what we have to consider. I'm just giving you an example of how it is necessary to have boundaries, good boundaries with family, no matter how close or far, with friends. So these days, one of the issues that I'm facing is that there are a lot of Zoom calls happening suddenly. And I can't attend all of the Zoom calls whenever, like, it comes with a 5 minutes notice. And I can't be on a Zoom call in 5 minutes. I am probably feeding my children lunch or dinner or whatever. I'm probably preparing lunch, dinner or whatever. I'm probably sitting and making a video for PPS. It could be anything. So you know, it's a difficult thing to do, especially with family members, especially from Indian subcontinent, but it's a necessary thing to do. Learn to say no politely, decline things that you don't want to do. Don't fall into peer pressure. You don't have to bake banana bread because everybody on Instagram is baking banana bread. Just giving you a lame example. Okay, meal plan. So as I said, meal plan or meal prep is a huge part of my routine. It's a huge, whether pandemic or not, it's something that I've been doing for years. It used to be like on a smaller scale before, but now it is with 4 children, mashallah, I've become a little more hardcore with meal planning and prepping. It's more of prep for me than planning, because if I have ingredients and everything prepped and ready in my fridge or freezer, it's easy for me to like cook. So let's say once a week I would spend extra time peeling garlic or ginger, and then that garlic and ginger will last me for a week to cook things. So I'm not peeling garlic and ginger every time I'm cooking something. It also helps reduce wastage. The reason why I've written keep it simple is because if staying at home or working from home doesn't mean that we cook elaborate meals for every meal. We're not throwing parties, guys. We are working, like, we are at home doesn't mean that mean that you have to cook biryani every second day or anything. No, have simple meals. It can, it doesn't have to be elaborate and time intensive. Find recipes that your family love and make them, like, prepare them a day ahead or 2 days ahead, so that you have something in the fridge to quickly heat up, especially when you know that you have like for me, this YouTube live, I am treating it the same way I would treat an in-person workshop. So I cook everything in advance. Like this morning, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, everything cooked and ready, so that I didn't have to worry about cooking after this is over. So when you have something important coming up, do things in advance. One of the best things that you can do is, instead of making, let's say, curry with 1 chicken, you could make curry with 2 chickens and then save part of it in the fridge or freezer and then use it on a busy day. batch cooking it's called. So this is all under meal plan and prep. So do what works for you. Now these three things may not be necessarily related, like directly related to working from home, but I think if you do these things, it will help you be more productive at home. One is definitely working out. It helps, releases endorphins and makes you happy, which makes your business happy. You are in a better mood. You are not sulky or whiny. You feel, a random unnecessary DM on Instagram doesn't put you off because you have worked out. Get creative. I know most of you are already in the creative business, but like I said in my previous session, if you can get a hobby, whatever it is, whether it's baking, whether it's gardening, whether it's painting, lettering, whatever, if you can get something that is unrelated to your business or work, it's going to make you feel happy, feel a little accomplished, and which, like I said earlier, momentum begets momentum. So whatever momentum that you get from one activity is going to go into the other activities. Celebrate milestones. Even though we are at home, doesn't mean that our little milestones, work or personal, are not important anymore. They all are important. I think they are even more important now. I think we need more celebrations now, even if it's at home. To put it simply, choose joy and celebrate the little things that's bringing you happiness. Even if, let's say, give yourself 10 minutes alone to have a cup of coffee or tea after a long day. It could be anything. Maybe watch a Netflix show or catch up on a podcast, anything really. If it doesn't necessarily have to be a cake, but in general, if you can, I would highly recommend celebrating your milestones. Okay guys, that's all from me today. Now it's time for Q&A, or if you have any suggestions, whatever we have done so far will be available for you to watch again, so don't worry about missing out. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications. If you can, share this on your stories. I'm sorry the light looks so dull. It's probably because the screen is reflecting light as well. So if you can, if you can share on your stories, please do, and do tag me so that I can post it back. Excuse me. My pleasure, Zakia. Thank you so much for coming. Zoom calls means you have to attend. There are so many Zoom calls happening now. I'm glad, Urmila. Do you guys have any questions? This will be available on Instagram. Like, I'll put it on Instagram for you to bookmark and share with your friends. Okay, looks like there are no questions, which means we can disperse, I guess. Thank you so much again for joining. The replay will be available for you to watch. Do subscribe, like the video, leave a comment whenever you can. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to bid adieu. Wassalam. Speak to you soon.